Hello, welcome to part one of Verbal Truth. Today I'll be talking about science and giving you a few examples of how it debunks some of the ridiculous stories in the Bible. So you're probably wondering why I'm wearing these glasses and hat. It's simply to just protect my identity a little better and makes me feel more comfortable. So with that being said, let's get started. As you may know, in Genesis it says God created earth and stars, but now with science we know that there's plenty of other planets, thousands of other planets, millions if not billions of other galaxies. And of course, back then, 2,000 years ago, they didn't have science, especially not to the point of how we have it now, so they didn't know there were other planets or other universes that existed. So of course that's not going to be in the Bible. Also in Genesis, it says, lights, plants were created before the sun. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure nothing can survive without sun, especially plants. And you cannot get light on the earth without sun 2,000 years ago. So I think Moses kind of messed up when he wrote that part in Genesis. Also in Genesis, it says, God made man as seen fit. Now, however, we know that this is not true based on evolution. There have been different species of humans, one being called Homo erectus. We are called Homo sapiens. And you can see Homo erectus, the skulls look different. And there's also other species of humans that were alive throughout the millions of years that you can Google or go to any museum and just check them out. And you'll see that we have changed throughout the millions of years. Next, no mention of dinosaurs in the Bible. However, if you should very well know that dinosaurs did exist. Once again, by hard evidence, which is fossils. Plenty of fossils that show dinosaurs existed, but of course back then they didn't have fossils and they did not know that dinosaurs existed before man. Next, according to the Bible, it took Noah 120 years to build the ark. That's 120 years just to build the ark. Now, I don't know about you, but that's to say Noah probably built the ark, say 30 to 50 years old, give or take, and then he probably lived a little after that. So do the math. Noah was almost 200 years old, and back in biblical times, I find that to be rather impossible, if not ridiculous. So I'll let you decide whether you want to believe that or not. There were some problems with the ark. Every creature and every species and animal were supposed to come to the ark in one day. That's millions of species. Ridiculous. Water divided the continents. Probably the biggest problem was the ocean. They didn't know the New World existed. They didn't know about South America and North America back then because they didn't have science. They had no idea. They thought the world was flat. So there's no way all those animals could get from one continent to another unless they all knew how to fly. The Bible also says the flood reached the highest mountaintop. Well, where did all the water go within a year? It would take thousands of years for that deep of water to evaporate. How did all the animals eat if everything was destroyed by the flood? When they got off that ark, all the plants would be destroyed, all the animals. So how did they eat? How were they fed while they were on the ark? How did Noah and his one family feed a whole entire species, millions of animals, with just one family? It's ridiculous to even think about. And do yourself a favor and look up the story of Gilgamesh. It was written 1,000 years before the story of Noah's Ark, and you'll see a striking resemblance, and you'll see that Gilgamesh was written first, and all that happened was the Gilgamesh story got slightly distorted throughout the hundreds of years, and it turned into the Christianity story of Noah's Ark. Next, God parts the sea and Moses and his people cross it. Now, as we know, Category 5 hurricane, you'll get some tsunamis and some really big waves at best. To part the whole ocean, you'd have to have 1,000 mile per hour, million mile per hour winds. It's just impossible. It's ridiculous. And as we know from basic science, the floor of the sea is not flat, as they show in movies of Moses. There's a lot of cliffs, lots of canyons, lots of 90-degree drop-offs. They didn't know that back then because they didn't have science. They had no way of knowing. They thought the ocean floor was flat. As we know today, that's not the case. There's no mention of hygiene, germs, or cancer in the Bible, even though God is all-knowing and powerful. Well, it would have helped the people back then, the millions of people that have died from germs, especially today, all the people dying from cancer. It would have helped if the all-knowing God would have written something in the Bible about germs and hygiene, and especially ways to deal with cancer, don't you think? Some more silly stuff. Of course, you have the talking snake from Adam and Eve. If anyone else has seen a talking snake in the past 2,000 years, I'd love to hear about it. A man in a fish lives for 3 days. If you can find a man that's ever lived inside a whale, yet alone a big fish, for 3 days, I'd be more than willing to hear about it. If you believe in the Bible, you believe a woman is created from a man's rib. So feel free to believe that if you want, women. But I'll believe that a woman is not created from a man's rib. And also, it says a rainbow was from Noah's Ark. That was a way of God saying he'll never destroy the whole population of the earth again, because as you know, the vengeful God destroyed everyone on the planet because they were too angry. So he decided to kill everyone but Noah and his family. So the rainbow was a sign of saying, I'll never flood the earth again. That was a sign from God. But as we know, science proves that a rainbow is caused from reflection of the sun through the raindrops and a reflection of light. That's why you can see it sometimes when it reflects through a window. You'll see rainbows on the ground. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. It's just part 1. Many other parts to come. Part 2 will contain some evil verses from the Bible, so I'm sure you'll enjoy that. With that being said, feel free to leave a comment, whether you're religious or not. I'm open to any comments, any suggestions. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Until next time.